Hello viewer, welcome to your favorite educational channel Experience Learning, and today we are going to discuss about the JVM architecture. JVM, which is a part of which is the heart of JDK, or you can say the JRE also. Previous video, the what is JDK, what is JRE, it has been discussed. Please first watch this, and this video is very basically beneficial for the BTech students, mainly for the IT aspirants. And okay, let's start, and please subscribe the channel. In previous video, we have discussed about that class loader and then byte code verifier and all. So here we are just seeing the JVM architecture. This is the JVM architecture, and if you see, this is basically divided into 5 parts. Number 1, class loader subsystem. Number 2, runtime data area. Next, execution engine, native method interface, and native method library. I am going to discuss it one by one. So, now first I am going to discuss about the function of class loader. What is the function of class loader? It's actually doing 3 things. Number 1, it loads the class file. It loads the class file. Then it's verify the bytecode. Is it legal or illegal? Next, it actually allocates the memory for the required programs. So, what are the things the class loader doing? First, from the name you can understand it loads the class, then verify it, then allocate the memory. Okay. Now, the second part is runtime data area. So, I think you from the name you can understand when a program is in execution, there is some data which are needed. I think you have already know about process and PCB in operating system. So, think it, you can relate it. So, in runtime, some information is needed. So, just like this, runtime data area. In runtime, the data which are needed, what are this? Method area. First one, method area. This is again divided into 5 parts. Method area, heap area, Java stack, program counter register, and native method stack. What is method area? Method area is actually where the class code and the methods is loaded. It's actually loaded the class code and methods. Heap, you know about it, I know that for dynamic memory allocation. In case of Java, when the object is created, it can be created only in the heap area. So how the Java object is created? Say the class name is test. See, the class name is test, and you are writing test ob equals to new test. So here actually the object is actually created in the heap area. In case of C++, earlier playlist you can see this, that object can be created in stack area as well as in heap area, but in case of Java, the object can only be created in the heap area. Okay. Next one is Java stack. I think you know about stack and activation, record management and all this. So stack is from where the actual execution is started. For example, when a Java code is written, the execution is actually started from main. So first the main will be loaded, and if there and this is basically divided into multiple frames. The stack is divided into multiple frames, and for each frame one method can be loaded. A function method can call another method. One method can call 2 or 3 methods in like this. So according to this, it will be loaded in the stack, and when it will be completed, it will be popped out from the stack. Next is PC. You know that program counter. What is this? What is the function of it? The next instruction to be executed. Program counter just keep track of next instruction which will be executed. This is the native method stack. Remember one thing, Java compiler is actually written in C. So here the native method stack, the C and C++ programs are going to be executed which are required to run this. Now see the native method interface. One thing remember that JVM is actually the virtual machine which provides you the illusion that you are actually running the code, you are actually controlling over the all the resources and all, but basically you are not doing this. The underlying everything is written in C and C++. So native method interface, like it actually interconnects, it provides the interface for the libraries with the existing Java. The libraries which are written in the native method, native code, I mean in C and C++, actually interconnects it. It provides the interface. Next one is native method libraries. The libraries which are required to execute the code, it is already there in the native method. This one is already written. So native method libraries provide the provide the definitions which are already given to the native method interface, and now it will going to execute the code using the execution engine. Now execution engine, from this you can understand it's actually going to execute it, and it is an interpreter. But here there is one thing which is, you can say, the magic. What is this? The magic is, here it is known as just-in-time compiler. Now the execution engine have to decide which will be interpreted and which will be going to just-in-time compiler. So why it is known as just-in-time compiler? The JVM, the bytecode, we know that it's actually the optimized one. It's an optimized intermediate code. Still, maybe there is some code like, say after generating the bytecode, I am taking a hypothetically intermediate code is written in such a way that T1 equals to A plus B, T2 equals to T1 plus C, and T3 equals to A plus B, and T4 equals to T3 plus D. So this one is written. In intermediate code, this one is written. Now, after, when it will be interpreted, T1 equals to A plus B. Now see, T3, we are getting again the same thing now. So which is already done. When it is already done, it will go to the JIT, just-in-time compiler. When it is already done, now it will not go to the interpreter. As it is already done, it will go to the just-in-time compiler. So the extra time which is needed to compile, which is needed to interpret it, it will be reduced here. That's why this is known as just-in-time. So in execution engine, this is a very very smart one, which decides that which will go to the interpreter and which one will go to the just-in-time compiler. And when we are using the just-in-time compiler, which is already executed, it actually uses a very smart approach that will not be used again, that will not be interpreted again. Okay, hope you can understand from the JVM architecture how it works. It's a very important one, and most of the time in semester examination you may get the question, and in interview, remember, in interview a question can be from this JVM architecture. So IT aspirants and also the BTech students or MCA or BCA students, please try to remember the architecture of it and how it works. Please try to understand it. If you are not able to understand in one words, please repeatedly see this video, and if you are facing any problem, please write it in comment box. Okay, thanks for watching.